How about my dearest YouTube friends? Today we are in a new video, and in this case I have to tell you who the best attackers and defenders are for this new season of Battlegrounds, which is season 32, in which we are going to focus above all on the route to victory. Okay, I remind you that the season came out yesterday, but hey, I have been playing the preseason and I have already played several games in the season, and I can now bring you which are the best players and defenders supporting me from an art made by a well-known breeder of Twitter, which we will see later. But first, we have to be seeing what the active improvements are. The boss's best, the defense improvements, and all that. Okay, we have the Bosch saga. As we have become accustomed to in this saga, it has given us a series of burglaries per month. And in this case, it is Mr. Fantastic's turn. He tells us that Saga's attackers, they get the following bonuses: knocks down the opponent, and is a passive 20% power suction disadvantage for 15 seconds. At most, there are 3 loads. And if there are 3 active suction passive disadvantages, strong attackers get 50% attack force, therefore we have more attack force. Okay, so here it is very important to carry a character from the saga label, to be able to carry him as an attacker, to be able to get this saga boss, and above all, so that our super attacks and strong attacks make 50%. Then we have the defender node called Ready for All Things. The defender starts the fight with the following disadvantages, each of which lasts 15 seconds if upgraded. Almost the defender is knocked down. These drawbacks are not affected by petrify, then suppress, then suction drawbacks. Okay, then also the defender has footloose. It is worth noting that after activating a super attack, the defender has an evasion improvement against a 25% probability of evading, and also an unstoppable improvement for 5 seconds. This may be bothering us a lot, especially the unstoppable one, so we are going to avoid teaching him at all costs, okay? And then apart from having the money call, for the money, whoever has the most unique improvements earns 5% of the power bar. Therefore, when they have a super attack, that is 2 more improvements that the defender himself has. It can have a pretty strong power copy and make you have a pretty bad time, so let's support ourselves through those of the Mystic content creator and through her slides. What are the best attackers and defenders we have for this new season? Okay, friends, let's start with the best attackers. I have already told you by seeing the slides that our beloved Mystic usually makes, and that they usually hit the nail on the head perfectly. And we are already seeing that he has put those from the Fantastic Hall saga as attackers, and indeed, almost all of these characters are going to be on attack. Okay, for example, we could be removing Falcon, will be removing the Invisible Woman, removing Sentry, finally removing character who are not so fast. But for example, Self-Evolver, Condemn Faria, Red Guardian, Quicksilver, the leader Antorwick may be serving us very well. Alan, Dr. Duniperion, in the end, they are characters that generate improvements and that are quite good for us, and above all, that belong to a fantastic saga. Therefore, we are going to benefit from that disadvantage exception node. Therefore, our strong blows are going to do, and our knocks are going to do 50% damage if you have. As long as we are from the Fantastic Saga, Spider-Woman, Ant-Man from the future. Yes, Bastion. In the end, they are Nico Minoru characters, which is also in this one. In this goal, he shines a lot because he benefits from all the advantages that the opponent has. And in this case, by having quite a few advantages, because Nico Minoru does quite well. And apart from characters that take away your power, they are going to work for you very well. For example, he also comes very well here as attackers and defenders. Characters that are immune to nullity, okay? Such as Close, Lamol, Oversee, Misters, Negatives, Sentry, Dafder, Red Skull, Civil, Warrior. I would say no because it is not that powerful. Is Iron Man, Omega Center, the B-Vision worth it? These are characters that are very brutal in defense. Both Iron Man, Omega Center, the B-Vision, and then already in attack. Because we would have Dan Warlock, we have Galan, we have El Gladiator, and YP in line. Their characters are immune and such. Immune to nullity of their improvements. So it can be quite good for us. And apart from that, what they are immune to neutralizing will also be quite good for us to prevent the defender from putting us at that disadvantage depending on the defender they give us. Okay, so in this case, high evolver photo, the Spider Woman is going to work spectacularly for us in the mystery class. For example, I would remove it, but Archangel, as he always usually reigns, is then valid as different attackers because in reality, almost all those of the Fantastic Force have been used. In fact, they are the ones I mostly use. We can also be using characters who benefit from when they throw super attacks at you. Well, in this case, give them massive electric stings to do them a lot of damage since they will be gaining illusion and unstoppable improvements and therefore they will sing with the power node. Okay, therefore it is going to gain power and then the characters that have to do with electric stings will also reign in this goal. For example, Kasilam, Scorpion, Ant-Man, I would tell you no, and Yeroya neither. But Spider-Woman here, I think it's God. But God, because in the end, Spider-Woman infringes this power. Part is a character from the Spider-Man Fantasy Saga, another very good character and Human Torch, who is also from the saga. Therefore, they are going to come very well to us. These characters are also mentioned, but the truth is that I haven't been using them that much. For example, Kill Visage, Fullcast itself has no longer used it. I haven't used them. So that's why I'm passing a little here, okay? But then friends, we also have characters that may be working well for us at certain times of this season because those who break slowness are very good for us. And why is it so important that it involves latitude? Because with this, we are going to reduce the node's evasion and we are also going to be removing the unstoppable 100%. Therefore, even if he has the improvements, we may be hurting him. We therefore shorten the time of the fight at Batenos. In this case, for example, I used Red Guardian, I have used Duke Silberg, especially since he is from the saga, I have used Silk, I have used Sanchi, I have also used Northstar, I have used Al himself. Sapo okay, and Dragonman himself okay. These are the best characters to add slowness, which is actually good for us, I tell you, to take away the unstoppable and the illusion from the opponents. We can also use characters that use the slowdown disadvantage. Okay, this is what basically removes the ability again from evasion and unblock, and unstoppable. Okay, but in this case, we only have 3 champions, which I would actually only be left with 2 because Man Sand, well, we're not going to be using it. But Antivenon with his improvement and male Simon can serve us very well. Okay, next friends, because in this case it is already mixed, okay, between defenders and attackers, they are characters that are going to stock many buffs, many improvements. Therefore, it can come to us both good for the attack and also good for the defense. Okay, will you say why for the defense? Well, basically, as I told you, there is the node of money calls money. The more improvements you have, the more power you are going to have. Therefore, this comes. It is a mixture between attackers and defenders. For example, Steve Woodman with his Furies, or Colin with his Critics with or with his armor. We have Magneto with his efficiencies. Storm and Storm BMX for his efficiencies, Red Skull for his armor. In the end, all the characters that go, including many diving issues, improvements are going to be good for us both, for both modes, both for the best defenders and the best attackers here within them. Because for example, we have good defenders such as, for example, I am seeing our friend Crossbones, I am also seeing our friend Thanos Deadless, I am seeing Maestro, I am seeing Medusa that you cannot control, I am seeing Darphenis, I am seeing Galan. They are very good defenders that in the end generate many improvements and they can make us great Prietos. Okay, then also it can be good for us as attackers. All the characters who have a kind of removing the power, it is worth putting the fight, giving it nullity and all that. Why? Well, because in the end, we are trying to stop this improvement in power accumulation. Therefore, also the characters who here are actually mystical to take away those advantages. For example, we have adjustments, we have Author Doom, we have Cosmedo Rider, we have Kusala, which I am using a lot because in the end, they take away the advantages of unstoppable and illusion and turn them into the disadvantages of incineration. Therefore, it can work for us very well. Long shot because the older whoever has improvements, the opponent will do more damage through him of inclination or bleeding, then it can be spectacular. The Little Witch of the Seal can also be very good for us if a self before supreme, as an attacker and at the same time also as a defender, can be good for us. Okay? Then it can also be very good for us, whoever they are, who are immune to diving. It's okay like Sniko Minoru and Clairvoyant, that we are already pushing Clairvoyant away a little more because in the end, she is a 6-star locked character. Then it also comes spectacular to us. All characters infringing atrophy. Okay, let's remind you that the characters that violate atrophy make the opponent's advantages last much less. And here I would have to basically tell you three characters of the ones you see here that are Satra with the super attack, one Kindle with diet. Before the blows, we are going to make the advantages last very very short for the opponents, and Moyo to a lesser extent, but above all Kindle and Satra are spectacular for this node. Okay, and then also, well, those who infringe what to neutralize and another type, because in the end it reduces the type of diving. Okay, it can be weakened, which is very good for us to prevent it from generating buffoons, no, such as for example it can be I who knows Storm, it can be Spider Woman, it can be Colossus. Okay, as long as they are not immune to neutralization. Okay, Tigra can be spectacular to us, that I have used her a lot in the node itself. Ringtrap Mephisto, not so much anymore, and Purgatory a little bit. Okay, and Friends, we would finish with that. Okay, because already in general, well, we would have all these characters at the end. The defenders who always usually command are usually the ones who stay here. Okay, as they are Koorbul, Sai Yelena, Gingrey Spear, Roman, Self-Blocking Photon, Thanos, Teddles, Kindle, their Phoenix Snake. In the end, these characters are, so to speak, the best defenders we have in the game. Therefore, they will have to be in your deck, yes or no. If you want to get to that one, I'll tell that circuit of radiators, that we remember that at the end of the victory route, well, we will have that new essence to be able to get the new and idol. Okay, and then also, well, those that are damaged due to effects can be good for us. Okay, basically due to disadvantages such as Balonzimo can be Nick Fury, can be, or Cole can be Black Widow, Original Spider-Man, as we have said before. Vox here is also doing quite well. Satra Venom, in the end, there are a lot of characters he hits me at, okay? That's why I wanted to show you the slides, because there were really no characters as such apart from the Fantastic Saga. I wanted to show you like this. So friends, you have always liked the video and that it has helped you get an idea of how to approach this new season 32 of Battlegrounds. So friends, if you like the video, I suggest you stay away and see you in other videos. Bye bye. And before finishing the video, thank you very much to all of you who are members of the channel for becoming a member. You have it in the description. So many thanks to the VIPsers of Liel Ramirez, Oscar Salmeron, and the authentic stories of Auca Roldan and Facundo Juan. Thank you very much for being members of the channel this September 2025. And